Imagine a world where no one had ever seen death. No wars, no violence, no killing. Humanity had just begun. There were only a few people on earth, and among them were two brothers, Qaabil and Haabil. They grew up in the same home. They shared the same parents. Their father was Adam Alaihi Salaam, the first human created by Allah. But one day, something happened that would change human history forever. A feeling entered one brother's heart, a dangerous feeling, jealousy. That jealousy slowly turned into anger, and that anger led to the first murder in human history. This is the tragic story of Qaabil and Haabil. After Allah created Adam Alaihi Salaam and Hawa, humanity began to grow. Their children were the first generation of humans on earth. Among these children were two brothers, Qaabil and Haabil. Even though they were brothers, their personalities were very different. Haabil was known to be kind and sincere. He had a soft heart, and he obeyed Allah. Qaabil, on the other hand, was very different. He was proud, he was stubborn, and slowly jealousy began growing in his heart. At first it was small, but soon it became something much more dangerous. At that time, humanity was still very small, so Allah allowed marriages between siblings from different births. But a disagreement happened between the two brothers. Qaabil wanted something that was not meant for him. This dispute was brought to Adam Alaihi Salaam, so Adam Alaihi Salaam decided something fair. He told both sons to present a sacrifice to Allah. The one whose sacrifice was accepted would be correct. Both brothers agreed, but the way they prepared their sacrifices revealed the truth in their hearts. Haabil was a shepherd. He raised animals. When it was time to present his sacrifice, he chose his best sheep, healthy, strong, beautiful, because sincere believers always give the best to Allah. But Qaabil was a farmer. He also had crops he could offer. But when Qaabil chose his sacrifice, he picked the worst crops he had. Dry, weak, poor quality. He did not care about pleasing Allah. He only cared about winning the argument. Then both sacrifices were placed, and they waited. At that time there was a sign. If Allah accepted a sacrifice, a fire would come from the sky and consume it. Suddenly, fire came down, and it consumed Haabil's sacrifice. His offering was accepted, but Qaabil's sacrifice remained untouched. It was rejected, and that moment changed everything. Instead of fixing himself, Qaabil allowed jealousy to take control of his heart. Qaabil became furious. His pride was hurt. His jealousy grew stronger. Then he said something shocking to his brother. He said, "I will kill you." Think about this moment. Humanity had never seen murder before. No one had ever killed another human being. But Haabil responded with calmness. He said something very powerful. He said, "Allah only accepts from those who are righteous." Then he said something even more remarkable. "If you stretch your hand to kill me, I will not stretch my hand to kill you. I fear Allah, the Lord of the worlds." Haabil refused to fight. He chose patience. But Qaabil had already allowed darkness to take over his heart. The Qur'an tells us what happened next. Qaabil's soul convinced him to commit the crime, and finally, he attacked his brother. Qaabil killed Haabil. And with that, the first human blood was spilled on earth. The first murder in human history had just happened. But after committing the crime, Qaabil faced a problem. He did not know what to do with the body, because humanity had never seen death before. Then Allah sent a crow. The crow began digging the ground. Then it placed another dead crow into the earth and covered it with soil. Qaabil watched carefully, and suddenly he understood. This was how he should bury his brother. The Qur'an tells us what Qaabil said. He said, "Woe to me! I could not even be like this crow and bury my brother." Only then did regret enter his heart, but it was too late. The crime had already been committed. Because Qaabil committed the first murder in human history, a terrible responsibility followed him. The Prophet Muhammad explained something very serious. He said that whenever a person is killed unjustly, part of that sin goes back to Qaabil, because he was the first person to introduce murder among humans. This shows how dangerous evil actions can be. One bad action can influence generations. The story of Qaabil and Haabil teaches us something very important. The first murder in history did not happen because of hunger. It did not happen because of war. It happened because of jealousy. Jealousy can destroy hearts. It can turn love into hatred. And it can push people to do terrible actions. That is why Islam strongly warns against envy. The Prophet Muhammad said, "Beware of jealousy. Jealousy consumes good deeds just like fire consumes wood." The story of Qaabil and Haabil is not just a story from the past. It is a warning for every human being. Jealousy is a dangerous emotion. If it is not controlled, it can destroy lives. Instead of envying others, we should ask Allah to bless them even more, and we should ask Allah to purify our hearts, because a pure heart leads to peace, but jealousy leads to destruction. May Allah protect our hearts from envy, and may He guide us towards sincerity and righteousness. Ameen.